Welcome back. It's the first episode of The Pitching Point in 2021. For those of you who don't know, my name's Alex Solly. I'm joined by Kate Lewis, Kostas Perkis, and Benjamin Denny this year. Hey team, how we all been?
Very good.
Best Christmas ever.
Good man. I hope it wasn't. Anyway, look, good to see you guys again. So look, this week we're joined by Alex Harris. Alex, I'll get you to introduce yourself in a second. But for those of you that don't know, this is The Pitching Point. It's the world's first gamified sales coaching show. We welcome each week sales reps to showcase their skills from around the world. The goal is to help sales reps improve their sales skills by being pushed to the point of melting whilst having fun. Alex, how are you, mate? It's nice to see you again.
Very well, thank you. How are you all?
All good, thanks, man. All good. Welcome to The Pitching Point. Can you quickly introduce yourself? Tell us a bit more about your role, the business, the kind of people you sell to, and then we'll go straight into it.
Absolutely. So yeah, Alex Harris. I work for a business called Threat Connect, a cybersecurity platform that help businesses stay out of the headlines, but also we quantify cyber risk. We also help people stay ahead of threats by giving them information on what could be affecting their business in the future. And my role is primarily BDR, so booking meetings, and slowly transitioning into managing some smaller mid-market deals to close as well.
Good man, moving up through the ranks. Nice to hear it. Good for you, mate. Cool. Well, look, welcome. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Cool. Okay, Kate, what we got for round one?
Right, we're going into Coach's Den. So right before this, let me share my screen. Alex sent me an email. And that email I'm going to read out live on screen right now. It's nice and short. That's my first reaction, ex-NCC Group. Kate, as someone who led the sales team at NCC Group, you have to be familiar with cyber-related challenges faced by security and business leaders. But as a CEO of your own business, how confident are you in your ability to quantify the potential cost of a cyber attack? Other CEOs are leveraging a couple of strategies you may not have thought about to better understand the potential cost of a cyber attack and ensure they keep themselves out of the headlines. Would it be a crazy idea for you to find out more? Best, Alex. So the purpose of this is to read that out and feel my reaction. Nice and short, personalized to me, giving me a story of other CEOs, what they're doing. It still doesn't feel like you've ticked specifically something I'm worried about. You've got leveraging a couple of strategies I may not have thought about. I'm not sure that it's triggered me to want a meeting. So for that reason, I'm out.
It's fair feedback.
Kostas?
I like, again, the brevity, only 3 sentences. I have 2 points to make. One is similar to the one that Kate said about the second sentence. You could have expanded a bit more. Just give a bit of an idea, because I like the way you've opened it. It's very clear what you want to talk to me about. But the second sentence, you could have probably added another sentence, explain a bit more. And I would I don't like would it be a crazy idea for you to find out more? It's not a crazy idea. I wouldn't use it. It's been overused. I think is there a crazy idea to book 30 minutes next week or something like that? But apart from that, I think it's nice and short, and it's very quick to read. First pitching point of 2021, I'm going to be in.
Nice. Benjamin?
Right, yeah, well done, Alex. I agree. The brevity's good. The shorter and more succinct messages, the better it is. Oh, again, second sentence, I still think you're lacking a bit of a hook, something that would hook me. Maybe just put an example of something I might likely to be suffering from in my world. Often I need that sort of hook. I also do agree with I as soon as I heard it and read it, that crazy idea. The word crazy is a wrong word to use, particularly if you're targeting at this level of person. So if it were me, I would say no as well. I would decline on this email. But on the whole, I think the brevity is good. It just needs a bit of finessing.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think I quite like the subject line is to get you to open an email, right? And I think you probably would have done that in this instance because it's all about Kate. Love the brevity. If you can teach something about emails, if you read an email, if you can take anything out of it to reduce it, but it still makes sense, then you've nailed it. I don't think there's much you could actually reduce from this to change the way it reads. I think you've done really well there. I'd actually say I'd be in this instance. I don't love the would it be a crazy idea, but equally it doesn't really put me off. And one thing I recommend you do, Alex, is that second half of an email. Think about one really simple concept of what I call it with them. What's in it for me? You really want to pull that hook in. I would respond to this, so I'm in, but just like really pull that hook in a little bit more and just make it so it's worthwhile someone's time. But not a bad job.
Yeah, I think it's fair feedback on the second sentence. It definitely needs just a little extra to give it the reason as to why they should want to talk to me, I think.
Light bulb moment. Excellent. Well done, Alex. That was short and sweet, and wow, short and sweet feedback from everybody on the call. Right, over to Alex. No, Costas to introduce Alex.
Right. So Alex, you will be pitching to Alex. Alex is a CISO of a mid-sized company, and he's looking forward to actually discussing with you whatever it is that you're selling. So.
Yeah, Alex, just to be clear, I think if you're going to just sell to me as one of the founders, was that?
Yeah,
the plan?
I was just going to sell to you as the person you are and the role you.
Great, easy.
Let's do it.
Alex, you ready to go, man?
I'm ready to go.
All right. So phone rings. Hello, Alex Ollie speaking.
Hey, Alex, it's Alex Harris calling from Threat Connect. Have you got 35 seconds for me to tell you the reason for my call today?
Sure, man. Yeah, I've got 35 seconds.
No worries. Look, Alex, I noticed you're a keen cricketer, and I wanted to run an analogy past you. From a cricketer to cricketer, what would be the impact of simply not being able to see the ball when bowled to you?
Oof, God, I mean, you've got me with the cricket side of things, so obviously you've done your research. It's a fair play. I'll give you a bit more of my time, Alex. So the question was, if I couldn't see the ball in cricket, what would be the impact?
Yeah, if you're a batsman and you were batting and you weren't able to see the ball, what would be the impact on your performance?
I mean, I may as well be blind because I'm not particularly good at batting anyway. But yeah, I'd probably get hit in the ribs a lot more. I'd probably get a bit of chin music. I'd be ducking and diving. It wouldn't let me get many runs.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good for the old average score, would it? But let's translate that analogy into cybersecurity. And simply, business leaders don't know how much it will cost them if hit by a cyber attack. So how are you and what are you doing to predict the potential cost of a cyber attack today as a business founder?
To predict the cost, that's a very good question. I'm not going to lie, Alex. I'm not too hot on this as a founder. I think businesses like ours, we're growing really fast. Like we're hiring a lot of people. We're building a lot of software as well. I'd be keen to know, like other companies like us, what is the potential cost that it could be for businesses if we did get hit by something like that.
Yeah, well, look, Alex, you're not alone. Big organizations also struggle to get a financial number in terms of what they could be paying if they were hit by a cyber attack. So I just sort of want to explain how we may be able to help in this scenario is that we're helping businesses put a financial value in pounds to the cyber risk they carry as an organization to simply say to the board or the founders, this is what it could cost us if we were hit by an attack today. So just curious to understand, would you see value in something that would help you align that conversation of IT or security, something that you may not be so involved in, to the business conversation of pounds and pence?
Just to be clear, Alex, are we talking about you guys helping us quantify how much it would cost us if we did get hit, or do you guys help us solve the problem as well?
So look, Alex, it's both. We help you quantify the potential loss of an attack, but then we also give you the prioritizations or where you should spend some money in terms of budget in order to understand what is the most important thing to help you reduce risk most and reduce the value of that potential attack. Okay,
interesting. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna lie. We might already have something in place for something like this, but it's ultimately going to be one of my other co-founders are going to be the ones to discuss this with. I'm not sure if it would necessarily be myself, unless you think otherwise.
Well, I think the importance of cybersecurity should be carried by all business leaders, and I think it's a topic that perhaps doesn't get the attention it deserves, and often it's because it's a really technical conversation that perhaps non-technical people don't understand. And this is how we translate the value of that risk into a conversation that business leaders understand, is assigning a pound value, because it's what the business leaders understand. So I do think that actually there would be value for the sort of broader team and yourself to join a conversation and understand how we may be able to help you predict and sort of calculate what it might cost you to be hit in the future.
Yeah, sure. I think that's fair. I probably should show more of an interest in this. So you've clearly piqued my curiosity. Yeah, happy to take some time. I need to get some of the rest of the team together though with you. So why don't we do this? Do you want to send me over an email with some information, and I'll get back to you with some times that might work for them as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, Alex, I'm more than happy to send an email, but sometimes when I hear that and someone says that they want an email, it's because they're not interested or they don't see value in what I've said. I'm just curious to understand if there's any more answers or questions that I can answer now to help you understand better what the value we deliver is and why it might be important to you as an organization.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, look, I'm genuinely not trying to push you away. It's just as I said, there's going to be other people in the business that are going to prioritize this more than me, such as our chief product officer, our head of product, our VP of engineering. Those are the guys that really care about this more. Happy to help you push this through. But if you can just send over some times, I'll get back to you and we can put in a time to have that conversation.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, I appreciate you helping me out and potentially give me the right people. But seeing as we've had this conversation today, would you potentially be able to bring yourself and those colleagues onto a conversation and ultimately bridge the gap between myself, who's a stranger to those colleagues of yours, and get that conversation set up together to take a meeting perhaps next week?
Look, for another fellow cricket fan, yeah, more than happy to.
Fantastic. How's Tuesday at 2 p.m. looking for you, Alex?
Yeah, busy. If we can do 4:30 on Tuesday, that works for all of us.
Fantastic. Look, I've got alex.ollie@reachdesk.com. Is that the best one for you?
Yeah, it's actually not. It's just alex@reachdesk.com.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks very much for your time today, Alex. And I really look forward to speaking to you next week and hopefully you enjoy the cricket this weekend.
Cheers, man. All right, Alex. Bye. How'd you find that, Alex?
Good. I mean, it's hard talking to someone that doesn't really speak security or understand security. So I think I did as well as I possibly could have done.
But yeah, look, you can tell, right? I know very little about this topic. I don't pretend that I do, but actually, you've actually revealed, and I was thinking very naturally during that process, like, I actually think I should probably know more about this. Being honest with you.
You always call the meeting with actually Alex whenever we do.
This is why it's so easy to put me on the spot. But look, I'm just going to give you very, very brief feedback, Alex. Great opener, like really good. You nailed it with the personalization. So for some people, the cricket might be a tenuous link a little bit, but for me, it's like my favorite sport. Even ended it with cricket this weekend, which I'm very much looking forward to. Pattern interrupt was good. You handled the objection really well later on. I am just going, send me an email, send me some times. You're like, look, dude, I think this could be real, and you actually made me your executive partner in this deal. Like, are you going to help me bridge the gap? I think this is going to be important to you. I really like that, by the way. So you did very, very well. You've got some really good sales skills that you've learned over the past however many months it is that you've been in sales, man. So well done.
And what about a score out of 5 against intro, discovery, pitch, and close there, Alex?
4.
Fantastic.
I'm not a cricket fan, Alex. So
you cost us.
That's the bad thing. Listen, I'm gonna be as honest and as brutally honest as you can, because it's the second time we're meeting here. I think that you need to embrace the fact that mid-market companies that maybe don't have a CISO. So probably you're going to be speaking to people like Alex, who, when he was building Rich Desk, when he sat in that coffee shop 2 years ago, he didn't even think about, hey, listen, what will happen if someone attacks us, cyber attack? What's the cost? They don't know that, right? So I think you need to frame the conversation all the way from the beginning. So you know there is a problem there, and hopefully you can amplify it by maybe attach a $sign to mid-sized companies, some examples of what has happened, and you need to lead with that. Now, I mean, you've done some research about Alex and whether he likes cricket or not, but honestly, I just didn't feel added anything to the conversation. I didn't feel that Alex warmed up. You know why? Because afterwards you were taking too long to explain to him, not to what might happen, is whether there is something that he's thought about. So my advice to you would be literally all that 35 seconds. I hear it too much. I think it's become too repetitive. You have a problem and you trying to educate these people. So you need to start with, listen, this is something you haven't thought about, but a cyber attack costs annually, mid-sized businesses, 100 grand, whatever it might be. Now, you frame a problem, you amplify it. Now you created the right condition for me to at least hear what you have to say, because you're right, they're not technical. They have no idea what you're talking about. But the biggest thing is, like, they've never thought about that. So that would be my advice. And I just feel, because you started it completely different, I don't think that the call was going anywhere. So yeah. I will give you for effort. I will give you a 2 for effort. But if you nail that, proposition, I think that you'll do much better, because I know you're a skilled salesperson. I just feel that you took completely the wrong approach for my liking. And I hate cricket. It's not a sport.
I feel that's significantly impacted my scoring, the cricket analogy.
Well, how do you top that? Right. So, Alex, a couple of things. I don't care about the cricket analogy or anything like that. All I know is that you can't research every single individual person you're ever going to phone. So that's why it's not a repeatable thing. So if something can't be repeatable and consistently done well, there's probably no point doing it. Unless you've only got 10 people in the world to phone, then I'd spend hours personalizing it. But yeah, so I think that's a flaw when people try to personalize everything. You don't, in the real world, just don't have time to do that. But it didn't have an issue. The issue I took was I was confused as to what was going on in the conversation when it first started. So if I was a senior decision maker, we don't like being confused. We don't like waffling. So we cut to the chase. What is it you're trying to get to? So I was finding myself thinking, what is it this guy is talking to me about? Like most salespeople, it's not your fault. We talk too much. And if you did a percentage of who was talking and who was not, you probably did about 70% of the talking. He did about 30. And he asked you a really simple question, which you came back with like a 30-second answer. And he was, do you think I should be there? And you went on this big explanation, which to me didn't convince me. And if anything, I felt like I didn't need to be there. So, I mean, it was good, but it needs work. And the other thing I point out is if you phone up someone, you go straight in at them with a question about something completely out of left field. Think about it. It's almost like you're being cross-examined by a lawyer in a courtroom, which is an uncomfortable experience. So you need to give a bit of context before you fire off a question at him. I know you did the cricket thing, but like I said, that's not a repeatable thing that you can keep doing. So I'm going to give you a 3 because I think it sounds like you know what you're talking about, but I think you need to talk less. Yeah, and next time someone asks you a question, do you think I should be there? And depending on what his job title was, I said, well, that's a fair question. Can I ask you this then? Ultimately, would you care if there was a security cyber hack at your company? If he says no, then I say you don't need to be there.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So 3,
yeah.
I think I said.
Yeah, that's fair feedback.
Yeah, I've written down 3. Alex, really, really nicely done. I mean, you scored the meeting, which is great, and that'll give you a +5. I'm going to say sort of something fairly unpopular here, potentially. I don't like the 35-second opener on the receiving end. I understand that it's a pattern interrupt. And let me tell you 2 things. 1, yes, it does encourage me to say, yes, okay then. But it immediately puts me in a negative frame of mind. I'm thinking, oh, shit, fine, go on. And I don't like that feeling. It doesn't give me a feeling of warmth and of openness to listen. It might be an unpopular opinion amongst the experts out there, but that's just me on the receiving end of those things. I think you did a really good job of managing the brush off that Alex tried to give, a little slopey shoulder there. I think you could have earlier said, well, look, if you need to get other people involved, why don't we get a time in the diary now? And then we can go and get those other people invited into it. And it cuts that whole can we, can't we little dance of, can we nail it down? Do we have to spend ages seeing, do you want information? If we get the book meeting in the diary, let's see it and get everybody else involved. If not, we can move it, would be something that I would recommend there. But other than that, all good. I did like the cricket bit, and I think you can do that at some degree of scale. If I think, Alex, you've got it in your headline, LinkedIn, it's 2 seconds review of that, and you can have a conversation as long as you're comfortable with it. So you can do it reasonably repetitively. And I'm going to give you a 3 on that for the way you handled that. And then, of course, you get a +5 for scoring the meeting with Alex. So nicely done.
Well done, Alex.
Good.
Alex,
Yeah,
that was probably the
yeah,
most divided opinions we've ever had in this group.
yeah. I just want to ask,
So
'cause I did hear on the previous episodes that obviously the 35 seconds versus how are you doing, because obviously, or how have you been? Because when you ask that, people know that you don't care, kind of thing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what's the, I guess, what from the group? I'm interested in hearing what openers people like.
yeah, my favorite one, and I don't know about Costas, Kate and Benjamin in terms of how much dialing they've done in the past 12 months, but I certainly have, and the one that I found has worked the best is how have you been. So that's my default. And I know, Benjamin, you don't like that, but I'd love to know what your favorite opener is.
Again, like with anything, making a phone call, it's not what you say, it's actually the delivery. It's just like acting, two actors, same lines. One makes the audience come with them, the other bloody awful. So I think a lot of people confuse saying something with delivering it, and how you deliver it will determine how it's received. So if I'm phoning a CEO, I know if I deliver I'll be upfront with you, you're going to hate me, Costas. This is a sales call. Do you want to hang up now or let me have 30 seconds? I know that 90% of the time, most of them like that. They respond very positively to it. Some people won't. Doesn't work on everyone. I'm not out to please everyone. I'm after the one that's most likely to enable me to talk longer. But I certainly know how are you doing today? I always answer that whenever I get asked. I say, my mum died last night. And then they go, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Look, anyway, the reason I'm calling... Or this is one I discovered the other day, which has worked well. I get phone calls all the time, and I've actually started saying, if somebody says that Benjamin, I go, depends, is this the tax man? And they hang up. It's really weird.
Well, Alex, listen, I mean, pattern interrupts are great, but I think that it's the talk of the town. So everyone is using like 27, 28. I think it's bullshit. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, whatever will put you in a state of mind that say, yeah, I can continue the conversation. I have guys, people at work, that they say, like, how are you? How's it going today? And I was trying to change that. And I realized it works for them because the delivery, it's on. So I wouldn't say you find your own style. I mean, I open up by saying, listen, I know you didn't expect my call. Give me 30 seconds. And if you don't like it, put the phone down. But it works for me because I've been saying it for years. And you know what? A ton of people have put the phone down on me, but it works for me. So you need to find don't worry about too much what's happening out there.
Yeah, I would agree. And if you can make it topical, if you can make it topical even, and just be like, how you're surviving the storm right now, just anything that means you've had a little bit of thought, or you're not reading from a script, that feels a little bit better to me. But again, that's how I respond. I'm with Costas, whatever makes you portray it in a comfortable way.
Yeah, I think, Alex, the only thing you really need to think about is don't default to the really old school ones, which is now a good time to speak, because you're just going to get that's the one you just cannot do. All right.
Although it does work still, people still use it, and they still, okay, what is it? It just doesn't lend anything to the conversation.
Yeah. But the most important thing for me is the simple statement: the reason I'm getting in touch is because. Okay, what we got next?
The big B.
Oh,
big Benjamin.
Right, so it's
right. I'm ready. I'm ready with my timer, Benjamin.
Yeah, I'll have
What have we got?
2. So 90 seconds. It's only 90 seconds. Now, again, I think this round could get slightly confused. So the purpose of it is to try avoiding answering my question, but the skill is doing it in a way that in the real world wouldn't piss somebody off. So it's very easy to answer a question with a question, but it's actually saying it in the right way and doing it without sounding evasive or a bit arrogant or, those things. So I think that slightly gets confused, because we can go back and forth with questions like tennis. That's easy. It's doing it in the real world. If this was happening, would I be getting, as a prospect, pissed off with you and frustrated? Or would I say, okay, that's a reasonable, that makes sense. So that's the purpose, to try and do that. But we've only got 90 seconds. So we start midway through a conversation with it, and I just fire off a question at you. And so my question is, so how can you predict what a cyber attack would cost me?
Well, Benjamin, good question. Why do you want to know how much it will cost you?
Because that's the service you're selling.
But I want to understand a little bit better what it is about the quantification of the potential loss that you want to understand.
Because if I'm going to pay you a sum of money in return for something, it's like an insurance policy. Yeah? I know what the insurance policy will cost me and roughly what the likely outcome. So I just want to know how you do it. How do you predict if that's what I'm going to buy?
Absolutely understood. So what I would want to understand from you is what controls you have in place at your organization in order to help you understand the model that we'd be able to map to.
So what is your model?
It's a financial model, but I'm keen to understand what controls you have in place in order to understand how we can map it to those controls.
So when you say controls, give me an example of what you mean.
Well, it could be anything from perimeter controls, it could be data controls, but I'm keen to understand what you have at your organization because everyone has different.
Time. Oh, that was
Time. Quick. Yeah, that was quick.
So it is tough. So I'll give you a little tip here. See, one of the things that makes I always got to listen to the actual question. So when someone asks you a question like, "How much is this going to cost?" The assumption you made is I'm talking about money. You see, this is what we salespeople hear words and they make assumptions. So I would go back with what I call like a Chinese menu reverse. We give multiple answers. So if somebody said to me, Benjamin, so how much is it? Well, no, what was my question? I can't remember now. How do you? What was it? What was my question?
How much is going to cost me a cyber attack? How much damage? Yeah.
Right. So I go back. See, the word cost is opaque. The assumption is money. So I go back with a question like, that's a great question. Before I answer, can I clarify? When you say cost, do you mean financial? Do you mean perhaps to your reputation? Do you mean civil or criminal proceedings or something else?
It's the trick there.
And then I go, well, that's actually quite good. I didn't. And then I got to, I hadn't thought of that. Now you got me, yeah? See, you'll come back, well, why do you want to know that? Instantly gets my back up. Well, because that's what you're selling. So the job of a salesman is to listen to words and not interpret them as you think they mean. Cost, what does that mean? What is this going to cost me? What could cost apply to? Reputation, all these other things. So you challenge that and you give them the options and go, you pick. Now that's back in there. I go, oh, that's a good, well, brand, reputational brand. Interesting. Now you chose reputational brand above the other three for a reason. Why is that? Because that's the one I care about the most. So what steps if you, and then you can move on. You see, yeah, but we were getting a bit of a pinging back and forth. And as a prospect, I'd slowly start to get annoyed. It sounds like this guy's trying to avoid answering. So your job is to go back with a question that makes you sound smarter and make them think, well, that's bloody good. I hadn't given that any thought. You're right. It's more than just money. It could be this. It could be, okay, I'm listening. Keep talking. Cunning little move, that one.
Alex, don't feel bad. It's intimidating. I did it before Christmas.
He sucked. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's not nice.
Oh, awesome. Well, Kate, how did Alex do in that?
I counted that he answered 2 questions, so that means he gets 5 points because he did less than 5.
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. I think Costa
yeah.
got 0 back in December.
You survived with the lion in the cage. Lion? No, he's not a lion. What is he? A wolf.
Pussycat.
I'm a pussy. As Johnny and
Coach. Right, I'm moving this on, team. We haven't got long left. All right, Alex, good job, man.
Well done, Alex. Yeah, it's tough.
By the way.
Oh, it's the game. Right, yes, it's the game.
Okay. All right, everyone. We are going to finish this off with a good old game of Kahoot. So, seeing as it's the first episode of 2021, this one is all about the state of sales from 2020. We've got lots of research that you happy about that, Chief?
Oh, big time.
Of course he has.
So we've got a lot of research that pulled from multiple sources that we can test you on, Alex. How on top of the trends in sales have you kept over the past 12 months?
Done my best. All my friends that know me know that I like LinkedIn and reading on LinkedIn, so they will give me a stick for it.
That's the last place to get trends.
You've got to beat the Chief. You've got to be. It's getting impossible to be on calls with him. You've got to.
I try my best.
Alex, are you
a bigger screen for his head?
Are you a sponge for pointless information, Alex?
Bad in terms of retention.
No, because then you'll never beat Costas if you aren't.
It's all about retention. It's all about retention. You read something, you remember it.
Cool. Well, look, I am certainly a sponge for pointless information, Alex. So, you ready for some Kahoot?
So what are we gonna do now?
All right, I've made this super easy for you guys this year. You only have to put in the game pin. Okay, we got some tunes coming through.
Yeah, loving the tunes.
All right. Let's get some disco in for the chief.
For Benjamin, it's not for me.
You're a disco viber, aren't you? Okay,
Well, I
Alex.
don't mind disco. I have to be honest.
How
Sorry,
much
my internet's
easier
just
is
playing up
this?
with me.
I'm in.
So much easier than that ruddy color-coded system.
Yeah, but that was fun.
It
One
was
of my
not
favorite part was watching you struggle a little bit. There we go. All right, team.
Well, I
Let's
can't
get
see the
going.
full screen. Just give me a sec.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, State of Sales 2020. I can't pause it, I'm afraid, Chief.
How many
Okay,
questions?
okay,
10 questions. 10
10.
questions,
10
team.
questions.
All right, I'm going to read them out for you. Question number 1. What percentage of salespeople say they used sales intelligence tools in 2020? This is from the State of Sales of LinkedIn.
Including their
Sales
brain?
intelligence. 25%, 56%, 31%, 43%. Sales intelligence tools. What do we think?
I've got a
Oh, a bit divided
Ooh.
here. So it was indeed 43%. You guys thought it would be a bit higher with 56. Let's see how we're doing. Oh, Alex, on the board.
Oh!
Good start, mate. Good start. Good start. All right, nice one. Chief is in the lead. 44% of
Challenger.
buyers said their sales cycles increased in 2020. Is that true or false? Do you think it was 44%? Could it have been lower? Could it have been higher?
increase. Got longer.
Got longer, yeah.
Got longer.
Yeah, I know.
Indeed true. Let's hope Alex got this one. Remember, I did indeed. It's not just about getting it right, it's about getting there faster too. So, Kate, you're not quite on the board yet, but
No,
let's see how we go. 2020, how many calls did it take on
That's
average to
easy.
connect with a buyer?
Easy.
14, 18, 16, or 21?
Oh, I never recall this rubbish
Oh, I
information.
never recalled.
Easy.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Oh
How do you know
no!
that?
I
No,
knew it's
Alex,
14
come on,
or
man.
18.
I suppose because I do it in 3, this figure makes no sense.
No, I use this for myself.
I don't people
Love
up.
it. All right, come on, let's keep going. Alex, you're not too far behind, man. What percentage of business professionals check email on their phone in 2020? So, how many of us use our mobile phones to check our emails? Do you think it's 30? Oh, no one got that right. I thought it was 32%. 42. It's 35. So basically, a third of people will even from working from home, will still use our mobiles. So just be conscious of that. It's important when you're prospecting to make sure you do the mobile test. Short subject lines, first 7 words are going to be the ones that are going to be
Great
read.
advice, Alex. Well done.
All right. True or false? Win rates are 10% higher when pricing is discussed on the first call. So do we wait for second, third, fourth calls later on the process? Or is it better that we get pricing up front? Win rates get higher. Is indeed
Yes.
true. Alex, did you get that one?
No.
I didn't. Don't be afraid to show pricing on the first call if necessary. Deals are more likely to close by what percentage when video is used during any point in the sales process, according to Gong. So if you're going to use video during the sales process, deals are more likely to close by
No
what percent?
idea.
Are they 57%? It's
Oh.
127%, right? So if you use video,
What? How's
That's
that?
rubbish.
think about it. Last year, and I got prospected by a lot of people who went to discovery calls that didn't show their face. Right, put your personality into your video calls. You're nearly twice as likely to increase your close rate.
What if you don't have personality?
I didn't realize it was like that. I thought it meant video as in like little
Yeah,
video
so
messages.
did I. Yeah, that's it.
No,
Uh,
actual video. You'll be surprised. LinkedIn found and HubSpot found that not everyone, I think it was about 22, 23% of people are not showing their videos. They're not putting their videos on.
You see it
Don't
quite
fall
a lot.
into that trap. 7 out of
Oh,
10, right?
okay.
What is the top attribute buyers value the most from sales reps in 2020? What's the top attribute? Was it patience? Was it active listening? Pushing them real hard? Obviously, not going to be that one. Or upfront contract?
I think it's
contract.
pushing them real hard.
Upfront
But pushing
contract.
real hard.
Good job, team. Active listening was by far the thing, by a landslide. Now, Alex, you're not doing too bad. I think the Chief might, you can still catch him. If the Chief gets these next 3 wrong, let's go into it. 25% of decision makers believe salespeople to be untrustworthy. True or false? Do you think that's the right number? Is it 25%?
Or is it right?
Yes.
It's hard.
Did we lose someone?
Yeah,
Oh.
I've just been bounced out. I don't know why. I've gone back to the pin screen, so
Sorry, Kate. It's probably because you weren't doing very well.
it's probably like you can't win, you're out.
You.
Benjamin, you're closing in on the gap. All right, we've got 2 questions left, team. Okay. What was voted the hardest part of the sales process in 2020 according to sales reps? What was the hardest part? Was it negotiation, closing, qualifying, or prospecting?
Easy.
I have to go with that.
Yeah, I'd have gone with prospecting. I would have said prospecting.
Right, the Chief is way ahead. We're playing right, all or nothing, team. All or nothing. How many people use email on a daily basis globally? This is just to put into perspective. Is it 3.3, 3.1, 3.6, or 3.9? I know this is nitpicking a little bit, but just to put it in perspective, it's a lot of people, obviously. How many people use email on?
I got it wrong.
3.9.
Who got
on the planet? Okay,
Second.
let's see where we.
Woo.
3rd place, Alex. You came in valiant 3rd place, my friend. 3,622 points, 4 out of 10. Benjamin, that's a record for you, man. Well done,
That is
mate.
a record for me.
7 out of 10. The Chief again.
No one
defeated.
knows more
Well done, Chief.
about nothing than Costas.
Okay. All right, team. Well, look, we are up for time. Alex, have you enjoyed today?
Absolutely loved it. Thanks very much for having me on, guys.
Thank you.
Alex, did you get what you wanted from us today? Did you feel like you've learned enough?
Yeah, absolutely. Some good, harsh feedback, which always helps you learn more. So thanks very much, guys.
Good man. All right, Alex, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure seeing you again, buddy. You did a good job. Kate, before we go, can we reveal the scores, please?
Yeah, drum roll, please, everybody. If I've done my maths right,
Ooh.
I think, yeah. I mean, you were level pegging actually with Aaron for a while there, but the Benjamin's question time just was a challenge. But you're certainly up there on the beat the Chief side.
Not a bad score, Alex. 4th on the leaderboard. Let's hope that you can maintain that place. We'll always have you back another time if you want to try and challenge Emma from Cluster, who's top of the board at the moment. But look, man, good luck with the next phase of your role. Congrats on the progress you've made, man.
Yeah.
Really, really good job. Keep selling, keep believing, and all of you guys stay safe out there. Kostas, Kate, Benjamin, great to see you, team. It's been the first episode of The Pitching Point in 2021. We look forward to seeing you again.
Later.
Thanks.
Bye.